A photograph can be more than just a picture stuck in time. Sometimes it holds secrets that last through many generations, whispers from long ago that would not stay quiet. But what really caught everyone's attention in this photograph was the gesture. The hand of the black girl carefully placed, forming a sign that nobody could figure out. For more than 100 years, this picture stayed in archives, looked at by historians, checked by experts, and seen as just an odd thing, until one researcher would not give up on it. If you are ready to find the impossible truth hidden in this photograph, subscribe and click the like button, because what you are about to learn will change everything you thought you knew about this picture. The photograph came to the Historical Preservation Society in Atlanta on a Tuesday morning in March. It was part of an estate sale from a building being torn down in Charleston. Rebecca Torres, a preservation expert with 15 years working on Southern items, did not look closely at first. Just another old portrait, another thing from the past to put in storage. But something made her stop. The picture showed two young women, maybe 16 years old, standing in front of a fancy background common in 1890s photo studios. Both wore high-neck dresses with big puffed sleeves. The material looked costly even in the brown tones. Their hair was done the same way, pulled up in the Gibson girl style popular then. One girl was white with light hair, the other black with dark eyes that seemed to stare right through the camera. What surprised Rebecca was not only the rare mix, though that was unusual for 1895 Charleston, where laws were making racial separation stricter. It was how they stood, shoulders close, heads tilted the same, faces almost matching. And then there was the hand gesture. The black girl's left hand lay on her chest, fingers set in a clear way that seemed on purpose. The thumb crossed over the palm, 3 fingers pointing up, pinky bent in. It was not a relaxed pose. It looked like a message, caught forever. Rebecca took a photo of the portrait, added it to the Society's records with a short note. Unidentified people, Charleston, around 1895. Rare, mixed-race picture. Hand sign of unknown meaning. She should have gone on to the next piece, but she kept looking at those two faces, wondering what story they wanted to share after 130 years. 3 days later, Rebecca could not stop thinking about it. At lunch, she opened the file on her computer and searched the Society's records for other pictures like it from Charleston in the 1890s. What she saw made her stop breathing for a moment. There were 4 more photos in the files with the same hand gesture, all from Charleston between 1892 and 1898, all with different people, an old white woman, a grown black man, 2 kids who looked mixed, and, in each one, someone made that exact sign, thumb over palm, 3 fingers up, pinky curled. Rebecca's hands shook as she made a new folder for them. She zoomed in on each, checking the gesture closely. It was too much the same to be chance, too planned to be just how photographers posed people. This was meant to communicate, a message saved in several pictures. But what made the first one even stranger was what she found in the bottom right corner. Using better image tools, she enlarged the photographer's mark. Hard to see at first. J. Whitfield Studio, 42 Meeting Street, Charleston. Normal enough, but below it, almost gone, was a note in old ink. Family portrait, private order. Rebecca stared at those words. In 1895, Charleston, in the middle of the Jim Crow South, what family would pay for a nice picture of a white girl and a black girl dressed the same, standing so close with clear care? Taking in children across races was almost impossible. Being sisters across color lines was not accepted. Yet someone spent good money, a lot judging by the nice dresses and studio, to show these 2 girls as family. Rebecca called Dr. Marcus Henley, a historian at Charleston University, who knew a lot about South Carolina after the Civil War. If anyone could explain this strange thing, it would be him. "Marcus," she said when he picked up, "I need you to see something, and tell me if I am seeing it right." Dr. Henley came to the Historical Preservation Society 2 days later, excited enough to grab the photo right away. He looked at it quietly for a whole minute before talking. "This should not exist," he said softly. "Not in 1895, Charleston. Not in South Carolina at all." Rebecca agreed. "That is what I thought, but it does. And there are 4 more with the same hand sign." She showed him the others. Marcus checked each one slowly, looking more confused. Then he took photos of all 5 with his phone. "This gesture," he said, pointing to the main one, "it is not random. It is a family sign, likely for knowing each other or safety." Rich families sometimes had secret signals, especially ones with things to hide. What kind of things? In 1895, the kind that could ruin names, lose money, even get people hurt. Marcus looked closer at the girls' faces. "Look really at their features, Rebecca." She did, and slowly, in a way that seemed impossible, she saw it. The eye shape, the jawline, the way their lips curved up a bit more on the left. These were not just 2 girls together. They shared blood. "You are saying they are related," Rebecca whispered. "I am saying they might be sisters," Marcus said, "which means we need to learn who they were, who their parents were, and how a family kept 2 daughters of different races together in that time." "In 1895, Charleston," he said, pulling out a notebook to write a list. "We need birth papers, land records, census info, church lists. We need the photographer's old books if they survive, and we need to see if anyone today comes from these girls." Rebecca felt the big task ahead. This was no longer just an interesting old note. This was a family that went against every rule, every normal idea, every hope of their day. And they left this picture as evidence. The Charleston County Records Office was full of papers, big books, and cabinets that smelled like old pages and special cleaners. Rebecca and Marcus spent 2 weeks going through birth records from 1879, 16 years before the photo. It was hard, because many papers from then were missing or ruined in the 1886 earthquake that hit Charleston badly. But Marcus knew good places to check. Private family lists from important people, church baptism notes, even tax papers that sometimes named children. On their 9th day, Rebecca found something. A baptism note from St. Philip's Episcopal Church, April 12, 1879, for Eleanor, daughter of Thomas. No last name, which was odd, but happened. What got her interest was a side note in different ink added later. Left home, 1897. 2 hours later, Marcus found one that matched. A baptism at Morris Brown A.M. Church, April 15, 1879. 3 days after, Josephine, daughter of Alice, no last name again. And another side note. Left home, 1897. Same year, Rebecca said, getting excited. They both went away, or were sent in 1897, 2 years after the photo. Marcus pulled up census records. The 1881 listed many families in Charleston, but he looked for homes with kids born early 1879. Most were normal, easy to skip. But then he saw one that stopped him. A home on Lagar Street, one of the best areas listed. Thomas, 38, merchant. Alice, 32, houseworker. Eleanor, 1. Josephine, 1. The race parts were what made it special. Thomas white, Alice colored, Eleanor white, Josephine colored. "This is the one," Marcus said quietly. "This is the family." With the home known, Rebecca and Marcus went back to search for any family papers that might remain from that address. Most old family things went to archives when houses changed owners or people died. If lucky, something stayed. It took another week, checking land papers and old lists, but they found a set of letters given in 1952 by a woman named Catherine, who bought the Lagar Street house after World War II. The letters were found hidden in a secret spot in a desk. There were 12 letters, written from 1894 to 1897. Most started, "My dearest daughters," in a strong man's writing, signed just, "Father." Rebecca read one out loud, her voice a little shaky. "My dearest daughters, April 1895. Today you both turned 16, and I paid for a portrait to remember it. I know the world will not accept what we have, but I want you to know you are loved the same, cared for the same, both my blood and my future. When you make our family sign in the photo, you tell the future you belong together, no matter what others say or think." Marcus and Rebecca looked at each other. The hand gesture was not just a family thing. It was a clear message put in the picture for people later to find. Another letter from September 1895. "The pressure from people grows every day. They cannot accept us. My work friends say my ties with Alice and our daughters are hurting my name. They threaten to destroy me, take all I have, but I will not send you away. I will not break this family. The letters showed a man trying hard to keep his family safe against big problems. Thomas loved Alice, a free woman who worked in his home, and they made a life together even with rules against it. When Alice had Eleanor, lighter skin, Thomas said she was his real daughter. 3 days later, Alice had Josephine, darker skin, and Thomas claimed her too, though the law would not allow it the same. For 16 years he raised them as sisters, as equals inside his home's walls. The last letter, March 1897, was the saddest. My beloved daughters, I failed you. The courts decided, and I have no choice. Eleanor, you go north to my sister in Philadelphia. Josephine, you stay with Alice here. They force me to split you, to break what should stay whole. But remember the sign. Remember you are sisters forever. Remember blood means more than what the world thinks. The letters proved they were related, but Rebecca and Marcus needed stronger links to connect the girls in the photo to Thomas and his home. They needed the photographer's old records. J. Whitfield St. Udio worked on Meeting Street from 1888 to 1902, City Books said. The building was gone by the 1920s. But Marcus had an idea. Some old photographers gave their papers to the Charleston Museum before closing. At the museum, a worker showed them a room with boxes of old glass plates, account books and schedule notes from Charleston studios. It took 3 days to find Whitfield's things. The 1895 book was leather and in good shape. Marcus turned pages to April, the month in Thomas's letter. There it was, April 9th, 1895. Private order. Family portrait. Thomas Lagar Street. 2 subjects. Daughters. Full nice setup. Paid ahead. $15. $15 was a lot then, more than most earned in a week. Below, same writing. Special requests. Both girls in same dresses, same hair. Client wants family hand sign clear. Negatives kept separate, not for show. Rebecca felt tears. Thomas knew even then this picture might be the only proof of his daughter's bond. He paid more, gave clear orders, made sure the gesture stayed. But there was more. Attached to the page was a small old envelope. Inside, a glass plate negative of the portrait. Marcus held it to light, and they saw the reverse image. 2 girls together, one with the family sign. On the edge, scratched small in the material, sisters by blood. May truth last. The photographer knew, and he helped keep the proof safe. With letters and studio records, Rebecca and Marcus had the main facts. Thomas fathered 2 daughters, Eleanor and Josephine, raised them together until pressure forced them apart in 1897. But more questions stayed. What happened to the girls later? Did they meet again? And were there people today from them who might know the story? Marcus searched family history sites for signs of Eleanor and Josephine after 1897. It was tough. Women's names often changed with marriage, and records for black families were often missing. He found Eleanor first. She showed in Philadelphia records in 1900 with Thomas's sister, called niece. She married in 1904, had 3 kids, died 1957. Her family line was easy to follow through marriage and death notices. Josephine was harder. She vanished from Charleston after 1897. Marcus checked church notes, school lists, work records. Nothing. Then he tried Philadelphia on a guess and found her. Josephine appeared in city lists from 1905 as a seamstress. She left Charleston and went north to her sister somehow. Marcus traced forward, shaking. Married 1908. 4 kids. Died 1963. But the big find was when he checked where both lived. From 1905 until Eleanor's death in 1957, the sisters lived within 3 blocks in the same Philadelphia area. Their kids grew up close, went to same schools, played together. Records showed visits. City lists had different last names, but they found each other again. Rebecca looked at what Marcus gathered. They never stopped being family. No, Marcus said. They just hid it better. Rebecca and Marcus now had their biggest job, find living family, and prove with science that Eleanor and Josephine were real sisters. Through family research, Marcus found 3 of Eleanor's great-grandkids in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. After careful talking, showing the photo, 2 agreed to help. David, a teacher in Pittsburgh, and Linda, a nurse in Philadelphia. Finding Josephine's was harder. Many moved far. Some did not want to join what seemed like deep family digging. But Marcus reached Josephine's great-grandson, Michael, who taught history at Howard University. When Michael saw the photo of his great-grandmother next to a white girl in same dresses, both with the sign, he cried. "She used to do that sign," he said quietly. "When I was small, my great-grandmother would tuck me in and make this over her heart. She said it meant family first, always." I never knew why. With help from family, Rebecca set up DNA tests at a university lab. It would take weeks, but it would give clear proof of the blood tie. While waiting, Marcus looked more into Thomas. He was a decent merchant bringing goods from the Caribbean. He never married Alice legally. Mixed marriage was against law in South Carolina, but land papers showed he gave her a house in her name for safety. After the girls split in 1897, Thomas's work failed fast. He died 1902, and his newspaper notice said nothing about kids. Officially, his line ended, but really it did not. When DNA came back, it matched what papers and photos showed. David and Linda shared gene signs with Michael, as if their great-grandmothers were full sisters from same parents. The impossible picture proved an impossible truth. 2 sisters, split by law and people, who never quit being family. As word spread in history and family groups, something surprising happened. Other families shared similar tales. A woman from Atlanta sent Rebecca a photo from 1889 with her great-great-grandmother making the same sign. A man from Savannah found letters in his attic about the sign that ties us. A descendant from Charleston found a diary from 1893 about our secret symbol for those who know real family. Rebecca saw they found something bigger than one story. The hand gesture was not just for Thomas's home. It was part of a quiet group of mixed-race families in the South who used the sign to know each other, to show their shared life-breaking rules. These families stayed hidden, keeping up looks while raising kids across color. They used secret signs, hidden words, and careful pictures to save truth for later times, when such love could be open. Marcus talked to 12 families linked to the sign. Each had different stories, some from love across races, others from white fathers owning up to kids with black women, me from taking in or caring across lines. But all had the same. Family ties society would not accept, kept through coded signs in planned photos. They made a picture record, Marcus told Rebecca. They knew photos might be only proof their bonds were real, so they put truth right in the images, waiting for people later who would get it. The 1895 picture of Eleanor and Josephine was not alone. It was part of a planned way to record families the law said could not be. 6 months after Rebecca first saw it, she stood in a community place in Philadelphia with a special group. David and Linda, Eleanor's family, sat across from Michael and 5 more of Josephine's who joined during the work. Some met for the first time. They were family. The old photo stood big on display so all could see Eleanor and Josephine clear. 2 16-year-old girls in same clothes, one making the sign that brought their people together. Michael stood and made the gesture his great-grandmother showed him, thumb over palm, 3 fingers up, pinky curled. Around the room, David and Linda did the same. They learned their family's sign. The message carried over 130 years. Family first, always, Michael said softly. That is what it meant. No matter law, no matter people, they were sisters, and they made sure we knew. Rebecca watched as families shared pictures, stories, papers each kept. Kids who never met learned they shared great-great-grandmothers. Old, broken tales connected into full ones. Eleanor and Josephine lived to their 80s, houses close in Philadelphia, until Eleanor's death. Their kids grew knowing they were cousins, but not all why it stayed quiet. Only this generation could say the full truth openly. David's daughter, in college, looked at the photo hard. They look so young, she said, but strong too, like they knew the fight ahead and would not let anyone take family. They did not, Rebecca said, not forever. Law split them for 8 years, But they found each other and kept this photo alive, so someday someone would ask. As they talked, Rebecca thought of other photos still in storage. Attics, sales, holding secrets waiting. How many families put their truth in pictures, trusting later people would have the understanding and strength to see it. The portrait from 1895 no longer showed unknown girls with a strange sign. It showed Eleanor and Josephine, sisters by blood and choice, fighting an unfair world to stay family. Their hand sign was no mystery now. It was a promise kept over more than a century. And in that Philadelphia room, as family from hidden branches finally sat together, that promise came true completely.